When your dog looks at you, they know you are not a dog. They know you walk on two legs. They know you open doors. They know you make strange human sounds, disappear in cars, stare at glowing rectangles, and somehow control food, light, weather inside the house, and the terrifying vacuum monster. So no, your dog does not think you are just a bigger, hairless dog. But here is the part most owners never realize. Your dog may also not see you as just a human, not the way another person sees you, not as a job title, a face, a name, or the person who fills the bowl. To your dog, you are something much more specific, something their brain has been shaped for thousands of years to find, follow, read, trust, and return to. And once you understand what you really are to them, a lot of their strangest behaviors suddenly stop looking strange. Why they follow you into rooms for no reason, why they sleep with your shirt when you are gone, why they stare at your face like they are waiting for instructions from the universe, why your voice can calm them faster than almost anything else. And why, when you come home, their whole body sometimes reacts as if the world has just been put back together, because your dog does not simply live with you. They organize part of their world around you, and by the end of this video, you will understand the one role you play in your dog's mind that is deeper than owner, friend, leader, or pack member. Let's start with the mistake almost everyone makes. 1. Your dog does not see you as another dog. There is an old idea people repeat all the time. Your dog thinks you are part of the pack, and there is some truth hiding inside that. But it is also too simple, because if your dog truly saw you as just another dog, they would communicate with you like one. They would rely on the same rules they use with other dogs, but they do not. Dogs behave differently with humans than they do with members of their own species. They look to our faces more, they follow our pointing gestures, they listen for our tone. They study our routines, they learn the meaning of keys, shoes, doors, phone calls, and that one suspicious movement you make right before bath time. They know you are different, and that difference is the point. Cognitive scientist Brian Hare at Duke University has spent years studying how dogs understand human communication. One of the most famous findings in dog cognition is that domestic dogs are unusually good at following human pointing gestures. If a person points toward hidden food, many dogs understand that the human is trying to show them something. That might sound simple until you compare it with other animals. Even chimpanzees, our closest living relatives, often struggle with this kind of cooperative pointing task. Wolves, even when raised by humans, do not show the same natural readiness in the same way domestic dogs do. That means your dog is not merely obeying you. They are built to interpret you. Somewhere across thousands of years of domestication, dogs did not just become calmer around humans, they became socially tuned to us. Their brains became more interested in human signals. Their survival became linked to understanding what we meant. So when your dog watches your hand, follows your gaze, or freezes when you say their name in a certain tone, they are not just hearing noise. They are reading a species they were born prepared to understand. This is the first clue to what you really are to them. Not a dog, not just a human, a special category, a social being unlike any other in their world. But the next clue is even more personal, because it lives in the thing your dog trusts more than their eyes. 2. Your scent is not just your smell, it is your signature. If your dog has ever stolen your sock, curled up on your hoodie, slept on your pillow, or shoved their face into your laundry basket, like they discovered treasure, you may have thought, that is disgusting. To your dog, it is something else entirely. It is contact. Dogs live in a world built from scent. Humans walk through life mostly guided by sight, but dogs move through a dense invisible map of chemical information. Their noses contain up to hundreds of millions of olfactory receptors, compared with about 6 million in humans. They smell where you have been, who you touched, what animals pass nearby, what you ate, how long something has been sitting there, and sometimes even changes in emotion or physiology. So when your dog finds your shirt, they are not obsessed with fabric. They found you, in the form their brain understands best. This is why your scent can be so powerful when you are gone. To us, an old t-shirt is laundry. To your dog, it can be proof that you still exist nearby, a piece of the person their nervous system is tracking. And science has found something remarkable here. At Emory University, neuroscientist Gregory Burns and his team trained dogs to lie still inside MRI scanners while awake. That alone is impressive, because anyone who has tried to get a dog to stay still for 30 seconds understands the scale of the achievement. Then researchers presented dogs with different scents and watched how their brains responded. The scent that activated the reward center most meaningfully was often the owner's scent. Not just any human, not just another dog, not simply food-related smells. The owner. The part of the brain associated with positive anticipation lit up when the dog smelled the person they loved. Think about what that means. Your scent is not just familiar, it is rewarding. It carries emotional weight. It tells your dog, "This is my person. This matters." That is why your dog may lie on your side of the bed when you are gone. That is why they may drag your shoe into another room and sleep beside it. That is why they may press their nose into your clothes after you return home, almost as if they are checking whether the world has changed while you were away. They are not being weird. They are using the most advanced sense they have to hold on to the most important presence in their life. But scent is only one part of it, because your dog does not just know what you smell like, they know what you feel like. 3. Your dog reads your emotional weather. You can tell everyone in the room that you are fine. Your dog may not believe you, and honestly they may have a better reason than the people do. Dogs pay attention to emotional information that humans often hide or ignore. They watch how quickly you move, how your shoulders sit, whether your footsteps are normal or heavier than usual, whether you pause at the door, avoid eye contact, or sit down differently. To another person, these may be tiny details. To your dog, they are a weather report: sunny, stormy, unstable, safe. Studies suggest dogs can distinguish human emotional expressions and combine information from faces and voices. Research has shown that dogs can respond differently to happy and angry human faces, and they often notice when emotional signals do not match. In other words, if you smile but your voice is tense, your dog may detect the mismatch. They are not analyzing you the way a therapist would. They are doing something older, faster, and more instinctive. They are reading the emotional condition of the person who anchors their world. And this is why your dog may behave differently around you from day to day. Some days they bounce toward you with a toy. Some days they sit quietly beside you. Some days they lean against your leg. Some days they stare at you from across the room before deciding whether to approach. It can look random. It is not. They are adjusting to the version of you that exists in that moment. This is also why dogs often seem to know when something is wrong before we say anything. Many owners have experienced it. You sit on the couch after a terrible day, trying to keep it together, and your dog quietly comes over. No command, no food involved, no performance. They simply arrive. Maybe they put their head in your lap. Maybe they press their body against your side. Maybe they lie near you without asking for play. That moment is not magic, but it is close enough that people call it that. Your dog has spent months or years memorizing your normal. So when your normal changes, they notice. And the longer they live with you, the better they become at seeing the difference between "I am tired" and "I am not okay." But here is where it gets even deeper. Your dog does not only read your emotions. Sometimes they carry them. 4. Your nervous system affects theirs. If you live with a dog long enough, you start to notice something strange. When you are tense, they may become restless. When you are calm, they settle faster. When you are excited, they light up. When the house feels chaotic, they may pace, bark, yawn, lick their lips, or cling to you. This is not your imagination. Dogs and humans can influence each other emotionally and physiologically. Some research has found links between long-term stress levels in dogs and their owners, including cortisol patterns. Other studies suggest dogs respond to human stress odors and behavioral cues. In everyday language, your dog is not just observing the emotional temperature of the home, they are living inside it. That means your mood is not background noise to them. It can become part of the environment. You may think you are silently stressed while answering emails at the kitchen table, but your dog sees the stiff posture, hears the short breathing, smells the difference, notices the lack of your normal warmth, and their body may begin to react. That is one reason some dogs climb closer during tense moments. It is one reason they follow during arguments, one reason they yawn when the room gets loud, one reason they pace when you are rushing around the house. They are not trying to be dramatic, they are trying to regulate inside a social system that includes you. In dog language, closeness can be communication. A lean can mean trust. A lick can be appeasement or affection. A toy brought to your feet can be an invitation, a gift, or a way to reconnect through shared attention. We often translate these behaviors into obedience terms. Good dog, bad dog, needy dog, spoiled dog. But many of these moments are not about rules. They are about relationship. When your dog leans into you, they may be saying, "I want contact." When they follow you from room to room, they may be saying, "I want to keep track of my person." When they bring you a toy after you have been sad, they may be saying, "This matters to me. Maybe it will matter to you too." No, they are not thinking those exact words, but the emotional meaning is real. Your dog is not a machine responding to commands. They are a social animal trying to stay connected to the most important social figure in their life. And that brings us to one of the strangest things science has shown about what you mean to them. Because, in some dogs, your praise can compete with something almost every owner assumes comes first: food. 5. To many dogs, you are a reward. Every dog owner knows the power of food. Open a cheese wrapper, and suddenly your dog develops teleportation. Drop one crumb, and they appear from a different floor of the house with the intensity of a search and rescue team. So it sounds impossible to say that you can matter as much as food, but the research is more complicated and much more touching. In another line of MRI research, Gregory Burns and colleagues studied how dogs' brains responded to food rewards compared with social praise from their owners. What they found surprised many people. For a large number of dogs, the brain's reward system responded to praise at levels comparable to food. Some dogs even appeared to prefer praise over food in certain tests. That does not mean dogs do not love snacks. They absolutely do, deeply, shamelessly, with spiritual commitment. But it does mean your approval is not meaningless to them. Your voice, your praise, your attention, your warmth, these can function as rewards in the brain of a social animal that has evolved around humans. So when your dog looks at you after doing something right, they may not only be waiting for a treat, they may be waiting for confirmation from the person whose response matters. That is why harshness can land harder than some owners realize. Your disappointment is not just sound. Your anger is not just noise. To a dog that cares about your signals, your emotional response can become a powerful event, and this cuts both ways. A warm, good dog at the right moment can mean more than you think. A calm voice during fear can help them recover. A soft greeting after separation can settle something in their body. Your dog's brain has made room for you in its reward system. That is an astonishing sentence, but it still does not fully answer the question from the beginning. If you are not just a human, not a dog, not merely a food source, and not only a friend, what are you? The next discovery comes closest. 6. You are their secure base. Imagine your dog enters an unfamiliar room. There is a strange object in the corner. Maybe it moves slightly. Maybe it smells odd. Maybe it makes a noise. Your dog hesitates. Now imagine two versions of that moment. In one, your dog is alone. In the other, you are sitting quietly nearby. You do not command them. You do not lure them. You do not cheer. You simply exist in the room. For many dogs, that changes everything. Studies on the secure base effect in dogs, including research by Lisa Horn and colleagues at the University of Veterinary Medicine, Vienna, found that dogs behaved more confidently in problem-solving or unfamiliar situations when their owner was present. The owner's presence helped create a foundation of safety. This is similar to what attachment researchers see in children. A child explores more freely when a trusted caregiver is nearby, not because the caregiver is doing the exploring for them, but because their presence makes risk feel manageable. Your dog can use you in a similar way. You are the fixed point. When something strange happens, your dog often looks at you. If you are calm, they may calm. If you are tense, they may become more alert. If you move confidently towards something, they may decide it is safer than they first thought. This is called social referencing. Your dog uses your reaction to interpret the world. That is why your behavior during storms, vet visits, new visitors, and loud noises matters so much. You may not be able to erase their fear, but your presence can help organize it. You become the answer to a question their nervous system keeps asking: are we safe? And this is why absence can be so powerful. When you leave the house, your dog is not simply annoyed that the treat dispenser walked away. For many dogs, the emotional anchor has left the environment. The center of information, comfort, routine, scent, and safety is gone. Some dogs handle this calmly. Some struggle. Some become anxious. But almost all dogs notice, because you are not just part of the house. In a meaningful way, you help define what the house is, and that is why the moment you return can feel so intense. To you, it may be the end of a commute. To your dog, it may be the return of the secure base, the sound of your keys, the garage door, your footsteps, your voice, your smell entering the room again. Those are not random cues. They are signs that the world has regained its center. But the final piece is the one that explains why this bond can feel almost human, even though it is not exactly human at all. 7. Your dog's brain bonds with you. In 2015, a study published in Science by Miho Nagasawa and colleagues drew worldwide attention for a simple but powerful finding. When dogs and their owners gazed into each other's eyes, both showed increases in oxytocin. Oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone. It plays a role in social attachment, trust, and parent-infant bonding. The study suggested that dogs and humans may participate in a mutual gaze loop that strengthens attachment between them. A dog looks at the owner responds with affection, oxytocin rises, the bond deepens, the behavior becomes more likely to repeat. This is not just sentiment, it is biology, and it is one reason the gaze between you and your dog can feel so different from the gaze of almost any other animal. A wolf does not naturally use eye contact with humans this way. In many animals, direct staring can be threatening. But dogs learned something extraordinary. They learned that looking into human eyes could create connection. Even more remarkable, dogs developed facial expressions that humans respond to strongly. Research has found that domestic dogs have more developed facial muscles around the eyes than wolves, helping create the expression many people call puppy eyes. That look is not accidental. It may be part of the long evolutionary conversation between our species. Your dog looks at you, and something happens in you. You soften, you speak gently, you reach out, you care. And over thousands of years, dogs that could reach us emotionally may have been the ones we protected, fed, and brought closer. So when your dog stares at you with that quiet, almost impossible intensity, they are not seeing a generic human. They are seeing the person their brain associates with safety, reward, scent, routine, comfort, and emotional meaning. They are seeing the one being in the world who can change the atmosphere just by walking into the room. And now we can finally answer the question, what are you really to your dog? You are not just their owner. Owner is a legal word, a human word. It explains paperwork, not attachment. You are not simply the leader. Leader is too narrow. It makes the relationship sound like command and obedience when the truth is much richer. You are not exactly their parent either, though some parts of the bond resemble caregiving and attachment, and you are not a dog. They know that. What you are is something only domestication could create. You are their human attachment figure, their secure base, their social compass, their emotional reference point, their source of familiar scent, their reward, their routine, their safety signal, their home in living form. That is why your dog follows you when you stand up for no reason. They are not always asking for something. Sometimes they are just tracking the center. That is why they sleep near you. Not because the bed is comfortable, though it is, and they know it, but because proximity to you means the group is together. That is why they bring you things. They are sharing a piece of their world with the being who matters most in it. That is why they look guilty when your voice changes, even if they may not understand guilt the way humans do. They understand that your emotional signal has shifted, and that matters. That is why your return home can make them explode with joy. Because the house did not just get a person back, it got its anchor back. And here is the part that should stay with you. Your dog does not need you to be perfect to be this for them. They do not need you to understand every yawn, every glance, every sigh. They do not need you to speak fluent dog. They do not need you to always know the right thing to do. They already built their world around the version of you that exists. The tired you, the distracted you, the laughing you, the sad you, the you who sometimes forgets the walk until they stare at you like a tiny courtroom judge. The you who comes home smelling like outside and still gets welcomed like the sun returned. To them, you are not impressive because you are human, you are important because you are theirs, and maybe that is the most beautiful part of all. Your dog does not care about your status, your failures, your bank account, your mistakes, your unfinished plans, or the person you are trying to prove yourself to the rest of the world. They care that your voice means safety, that your scent means home, that your presence changes fear into something survivable. that your return puts the world back in place. So the next time your dog looks at you from across the room, do not dismiss it as nothing. They may be checking your mood. They may be waiting for a signal. They may be asking if everything is okay. They may simply be resting their eyes on the center of their world. Because your dog does not see you as just a human, they see the one presence their whole life is organized around. And when you finally understand that, you stop asking, "Does my dog love me?" You start realizing they have been answering that question every single day, in the way they follow, in the way they wait, in the way they smell your clothes, in the way they relax when you speak, in the way they come back to you again and again. Not because they think you are a dog, but because, to them, you are something even more important. You are home.